Hey everyone, it's Mr. Aiken here with lesson number 2, talking about the actual start of World War One. So last week, our main idea was looking at M, A, I, and N, the main causes of World War One. So on our lesson here, make sure that you filled in what each letter stands for, as well as the definition for each, because all of those four things will play a role in how this war actually begins. So our learning target for our entire lesson this week is that students will explain the causes and effects of World War I on the European nations and its people. So right now we are going to focus on the cause. What actually was the spark or the singular event that led to this massive war breaking out? So at the end of the lesson last week, there was that short video called "Wrong Turn" that led to World War One. And the last question I had asked you guys was, which of these main causes do you think was most important or most influential in terms of actually starting this war? So we are going to start by discussing that one event. So when we talked about nationalism last week, remember the letter N in main stands for nationalism as being a cause of World War One. I had showed these two maps side by side here. We have Europe in 1907 and we have Europe in 1914. So I had pointed out that some of these countries were created, right? We have countries like Bulgaria popping up, countries like Albania. Serbia expands a little bit south as well. But probably the most important change is going to be the Austro-Hungarian Empire taking over this area here called Bosnia. So you can see in 1914, they've expanded south, and they've taken the city of Sarajevo. Now, the reason this is important is because this Balkan region here is home to many different ethnic groups, many different nationalities, right? You have Albanians, you have Serbians, you have Bulgarians. These are all different groups of people. And there were also people who were identifying as Bosnians. There were also people living in the city of Sarajevo that identified as Serbian, and there were groups of people that really did not like the fact that the Austro-Hungarian Empire, being this large country up here, had taken over a national group instead of allowing them to either become independent or merge with a country like Serbia or Montenegro, or kind of become their own country. And so the event that's actually going to start World War One is kind of centered around this conflict of the Austro-Hungarian Empire taking this area here. So, in an attempt to kind of show goodwill towards the people of Bosnia, Austria-Hungary kind of wants to prevent war, some sort of maybe civil war breaking out as much as possible. So they sent the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who is the heir to the throne. That means he is going to be the next emperor once the current one is finished. They send him on a trip to meet the people of Sarajevo. So mostly kind of almost like a PR trip, right? He's sent there to kind of show his face, show that the Austro-Hungarians are not there to kind of, be these overlords over them. He's kind of sent on this mission. However, there were some people that did not like the fact that the Archduke was going to be there, and they wanted to do something about it. And so the assassin is a guy named Gavrilo Princip. Now, Gavrilo Princip from Serbia here, he is a part of this secret group, right? It's like spies and stuff, or they thought they were at least, called the Black Hand. And their plan was to assassinate the Archduke Franz Ferdinand to show that the people of Sarajevo and the people of Bosnia did not want to be a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Unfortunately for them, they didn't really think the plan through much after that. So, long story short here, Archduke Franz Ferdinand gets got. He a wrong turn, as that video explains, ends up putting Archduke Franz Ferdinand right in the path of Gavrilo Princip, who is able to assassinate him. Now, this seems like a small part of history, right? Or it could have been. It very well could have just been, the Austro-Hungarian Empire has their heir murdered. He's supposed to be the next emperor. Could have went to war with Serbia, solved their problems there. But we know that when we're looking at Maine, that there are other alliances that are in play, and that's going to lead to something that we're going to call the domino effect that actually starts this war. So, rightfully so, the Austro-Hungarians blame the Serbians for this assassination. Now, the Serbians didn't actually pay Gavrilo Princip or anything to do this act. He was working on his own, but he was from Serbia. The Austro-Hungarians are not happy with that country, and so they decide, okay, Serbia, you are going to pay for this, and we are going to punish you by declaring war on you. So on July 28th, the first declaration of war is made. Unfortunately for Austria-Hungary, sorry, Serbia has a rather powerful ally, and one that is willing to come to their side to defend them, and that is Russia. So Russia is let me go back to click to the map here. Country over here, absolutely massive, one of the biggest militaries in the world, is going to come to the aid of Serbia and help defend themselves against the Austro-Hungarians. So they start to what is called mobilize their army. That essentially means prepare to go to war. Right? They're making sure that their soldiers are ready to go. They're making sure their battle plans are ready. You know, all that good stuff. They're mobilizing and moving towards their border. But once again, thinking back to our alliances, Austria-Hungary also has a very powerful alliance member, and that is Germany. So Germany sees that Russia is mobilizing its army, and they say, wait a minute, we share a border with Russia. They know that we're in an alliance with Austria-Hungary. This is threatening to us. And so Germany, seeing this as a threat, declares war on Russia. But they don't stop there. They say, well, if we're going to declare war on Russia, we're also going to have to declare war on their alliance member, which is France. And so now we have Germany jumping into this conflict by declaring war on two countries. And then the kind of final domino here that really catapults everything into this full-scale war is that Britain sees this as a threat as well, considering they were in an alliance with France and Russia. And so Britain declares war on Germany and Austria-Hungary. And just like that, we have the start of World War I. So just as a recap here, looking at the map, we have Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia because of that assassination. Russia comes to the aid of Serbia and starts to mobilize its army against Austria-Hungary. Germany jumps in and says, wait a minute, you can't attack my alliance member. They're Austria-Hungary. We're going to attack you, and we're also going to attack your alliance member in France. And the UK, United Kingdom, says, well, we can't let that happen, so we're going to declare war on Germany and Austria-Hungary. And just like that, we have both of these alliances going at each other. And the war officially begins by the end of the summer of 1914. So the rest of the lesson here, we'll talk about the course of the war and what actually happened to the people that had to fight in this war. And then towards the end, we'll talk about how it came to a finish.